You cannot do anything in this life worth its salt if you do not hold the belief that you have the ability to change the outcomes of your life. It is that simple. And I will give you I guess a spoiler alert on that one. All of us have the ability to change the aspects of our lives that are worthy of change. You cannot change what somebody else is doing, how they show up, how they interact with the world, but you can change whether or not you engage with that person. You cannot change whether or not somebody is shisty, shady, etc., but you can choose not to deal with that person. That is personal power. You can choose not to be at that job. You can choose to not be in that company, not be in that relationship. You can choose not to go with that accountant or to go with no accountant at all or to go with 10 account. You have the ability to choose how your finances are mapped out, how your career goes. And I know this sounds crazy because, well, I've worked so hard and I didn't get the opportunity, etc. There are individuals who couldn't get the job they wanted, so they created one because you have the ability to do so. Now, if you don't feel that you have the ability, then maybe you need to educate yourself, get the skill sets necessary. That is personal power. Oh, well, it's just so expensive nowadays. Okay, well, we got this thing called YouTube where you can start to at least develop the baseline of just about any skill set. You can go to edx.org, I think, or .edu, whatever it is, and you can get some courses for free from some of these major universities if you're really that serious. But what I've come to realize is it has nothing to actually do with that and everything to do with I just want an excuse for why my life is the way that it is. And I want to have control and power without actually doing anything for it. And it's the easiest way. Like, think about it. If you want attention, you can do one of two things. I mean, you can do a host of different insane things, but you can either get positive or negative attention. You can either do something that's going to be controversial, triggering, or you can do something that is value inducing and actually edifying, right? So hopefully, as I'm doing what I'm doing, I am bringing value for that attention. You are paying me an attention and I am paying you in something that is hopefully a valuable piece of insight, information, entertainment, whatever it may be, right? On the other side, I could be over here and, be causing mayhem and you would pay me attention, but all I'm really giving you is my dysfunction. And so you're paying attention for the sake of dysfunction. And unfortunately, there are more people who gravitate towards the chaos as opposed to the actual production or creating something of value, right? It's hard to build an organization that means something. It's going to take work. It's going to take change within yourself. You have to shift your belief systems. You have to take different actions. You have to create new habit patterns that may be contradictory to everything you've been doing throughout your past. You have to become a different person entirely in order to sustain the business or whatever it may be. That is difficult. It is easy to essentially get somebody's pity, get somebody's sympathy, to play the victim. It is easy to throw a tantrum to get somebody's attention. And so that is the mentality of an individual who is caught up in that sort of ideology. And I'm not saying this is exclusive to those who are in the far left, but you see it in the most extreme way when it comes to these sorts of individuals. There are plenty of people who see themselves as moderates, as right-leaning, as whatever, religious, non-religious, etc., who play the victim throughout their lives. I'm sure that you have engaged with a plethora of these type of individuals. They're in your family, right? You got cousins, sisters, mamas, aunties, daddies, grandpas, whatever, who consistently played the victim. Woe is me. All these things are happening to me. If he had not done this, if she had not done that, if my ex was not this and this, then I wouldn't be where I am. And the reason I am where I am in life is because of everybody else. I'm the type of guy, I go off of like Jocko Willing. Shout out to Jocko and his podcast. I go off of the extreme ownership side of things, which is extreme, but nevertheless, I get personal power and agency. So I say, okay, I get into a business with an individual, which has really happened to me a few times, more than I'd like to admit, but yes, it has happened, where I get in a business partnership, we sign a contract, and I didn't put certain stipulations of contract, or even in one case, I didn't sign a contract at all. Basically, I ended up doing 80% of the work. They do 20%, but because there was no stipulation around that, we end up getting paid the same. We are splitting profits for something that I'm working 80% of. I become jaded, I become resentful, and I blame the other individual. Now, in hindsight, my perspective is I should have vetted this individual. I should have created stipulations at the very least, but at the very most, I could have done research on who this person is. What businesses have they been a part of in the past? When you're getting a job, most of the time they're going to call your references. Who is this person? How can I trust them? How do they show up? What do they do in these type of situations? I vet the individual. It's like relationships. We're so fast to jump to the bedroom and all these types of things, as opposed to actually having a relationship to vet them. So damn desperate, you just want a relationship, and so you get in one, then you blame every single ex of yours for why you just can't find a good person. No, personal accountability. I chose these people. I engaged. I entertained these individuals. Oh, but they were narcissists, so everybody's just a narcissist. Okay, cool. That means you're a narcissist magnet. Now let's do the math on that one. How did I become a magnet to the narcissist? Like, I know it's not easy, and sometimes I get these, just every now and then I get a response of somebody using their own story to say, well, this happened to me, so this is a dangerous message. No, it's not a dangerous message. No, it's not. Like I said, you can't control what somebody else does. And there are things that happen within our lives that, we were at a stage or an age that we didn't have consciousness, or even we did, but we made bad decisions. We made a decision that ended us up in harm's way or whatever it was. And it's not to guilt ourselves over it or to beat ourselves over it, but we have to admit that I may have made decisions, or somebody around me made decisions that weren't conducive to my very highest good. And if that be the case, then I got to move different. Then I got to surround myself with different individuals. A lot of the problems that come into our lives are because we have the inability or the unwillingness to part ways with certain individuals. We have the unwillingness to say, you know what, this person is not good for me. This relationship is not good for me. This relationship is a liability. This individual, I'm a people pleaser. I'm so afraid to break this relationship off because I feel like I'm a terrible person. Instead of saying, you know what, this person is destructive. This person is moving in a way that's going to be, destructive to my own life, let alone their own. So let me separate myself. Let me remove myself from this. Instead, we are afraid. We are people pleasers. We are codependents, and we need to break those. But that's a personal journey we have to take ourselves on. There might have been traumas that mommy and daddy, introduced into our lives. And fortunately or unfortunately, we have the power in our later lives to then choose. We choose our path. Are we going to allow that to define us, as many people do, unfortunately? Going through an entire life to say this happened to me. Think about, it's like TikTok was about to disappear, and I was building fast on TikTok. In a span of 3 months, what is it? November, December, January. Span of 3 months, I went from 15,000 followers to 200,000 followers. Imagine getting the news that, oh, this platform that you're doing this and getting numbers on and getting paid, a very substantial amount of money. Oh, this platform's going to be gone overnight. You can do nothing about it. I had two choices. I could either sit there and whine and complain and cry about it, or I could do something about it and say, if this is uncontrollable, like we really can't, file petitions or whatever it is, do something active, then I got to move to another platform. I got to double and triple down on the platforms that are going to be around. And even if they might disappear one day, this platform, that platform might not be here one day. And I can sit here and be a victim. Woe is me. Oh, woe is me. I'm oppressed. Look what happened to me. It's not fair. Look at no. I have to take personal accountability. I got to invest in myself. I got to make sure that, I have my P's and Q's ready. I got my databases with all the content that I've ever uploaded, saved, just in case, and if I've built an audience that is loyal enough that, is willing to continue to support and sees value in the content that I put out, then that relationship will be reciprocated wherever we go, right? That is the belief that I hold. But if I instead said, man, it's just so unfair and these companies are corrupt and they're this, oh man, I'm being shadow banned, this, that, and the third, man, that's a me thing. I have to solve that. I know that's extreme ownership for some people. It's like it just has to be one gradual step, right? I didn't start in this place. Like, mind you, I wasn't born with this level of personal accountability. It was developed over time. And I might even get more into that. If y'all want to hear about that, y'all let me know, right? 80% of what I do is simply catered to me, but also I'm listening to say, okay, this is what's resonating most, etc. So if y'all want me to get deeper into that, then, I will get deeper into that, developing that level of personal accountability or personal responsibility. It is key. There's no way around it. If you're going to have a life that you build that is yours and that is not fluctuating, that is not based upon, the temperaments of others, the emotionality of others, circumstances and conditions as opposed to choices, then you have to take that accountability. You are not oppressed. You are choosing maybe to be a part of a situation where you feel that you're powerless. You may be born into a third world nation, like myself and my family. And you have to make a decision to say, damn, as hard as it may be, we need to do everything to get into a place that is more advantageous. And sometimes you don't get that. So you got to make do with what you have. And you try again, try again. Some people have, aspired towards something for decades. Like for me, I've taken, at least a decade and a half just to figure it out. What is really my purpose? What's my calling? Doing different stuff, trying, failing, falling. I tried to do YouTube before. Things weren't really working out, but it wasn't because, oh, YouTube's so unfair. It's because I wasn't fully being myself. I wasn't showing up in the way that I needed to in order to actually have, a tribe galvanized. I wasn't creating enough like value. Value is in the eyes of the beholder, right? Some people saw my old content as extremely valuable, etc. But I wasn't presenting myself in the fullest capacity. I'll say that. And so I can't be mad when people aren't invested in the fullest capacity. It's like you got a television show and, you show up and you're half-hearted and you're not really talking that talk. You're not telling the whole truth. You're not showing up authentically. And people sense that. Why would you be mad at them? Now every one of my platforms is growing substantially only because I said, you know what, I'm going to show up with my whole self. And even if it doesn't work for 5 years, it's going to be a 10-year. I made a 10-year plan. I said, it's going to be a 10-year plan. I'm here. I'm invested. I'm in it. Like, I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do it no matter what. The platform pays me 10 cents or $10,000 or $100,000 a month. I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to do it because this is what I'm here to do. Simple as that. And I followed through that course. That, and again, this is a quote unquote black man speaking, right? We're supposed to be helpless. Oh, we're supposed to have all these barriers that are in our way. Oh, we got to work 10 times harder, etc. There's never been a better time than right now to be anybody in the world. Anybody in the world. Times are so easy for us in comparison to our ancestors. And so all it is a mentality shift, and then we have to use action, and it's going to be hard because you're battling against the old belief systems that you held. You've got this propaganda machine pushing the message of you can't do it, poor you're a victim. And I believe that if you were going to be like a shadow government, as they say, the deep state, whatever, if you were going to want to rule over the masses, the only way you can do it is through belief systems. And if I was trying to control the masses, I would just have them believe that they cannot do for themselves. That's all I would have them believe. All I would do was just push that leftist, quote unquote, Democrat propaganda of you need the government to take care of you. You need all these programs to take care of you. You can't take care of yourself. You're just going to stay poor. Rich people are bad. I would push that type of messaging. Don't ever try to become rich because that's evil people. And I would continue to show you these images, warped perception of what most millionaires and billionaires are. I wouldn't show you the My Pillow guy. I wouldn't show you Sarah Blakely with the damn Spanx. I wouldn't show you, the people crafting these everyday items that become multimillionaires and billionaires. Instead, I would show you images of, the corrupt Ben Bernankes, the corrupt con artists, the scammers, etc. So you have a mentality of, oh, wealth is bad. Wealth is bad. That's what I would do if I wanted to control you and keep you dumb, poor, and essentially, in a place where you have no personal agency, or you forget your personal agency and you hand it over to an employer, you hand it to a government, you hand it to a spouse or some other person. Because that's what most of us do. We take our own personal power and we put it into somebody else's hands, and then we blame those people for ruining our lives. How dare you? I can't believe you. My spouse did this. Why'd you put so much power into that person's hands? But we have children together. I understand that. But we have finance. I understand that. But why'd you put so much emotional bandwidth into this person? I'm not saying don't be connected and in love with that person. I'm saying, why does that person make or break you? Did they exist before, were they in your life at 10, 20, 30 years old? For most people, it's a no, right? They weren't there at 10, 20, maybe 30 or whatever, but they weren't there your whole entire life, and yet you became dependent. You leached onto that person. You became desperate in that situation. And so you invested all of yourself. And again, I'm not saying emotional investment or care or love. I'm talking about you're latching onto them like they become your hope, your savior in essence. That's what this I'm oppressed mentality does. You're constantly looking for a savior, and nothing will ever come. Nobody is here to save you. Nobody is here to save you. Not the white man, not the black man, not any man in between. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to tell the truth and to do what I'm here on this planet to do. Simple as that. I am not here to save you, and nobody else is here to save you, because you were placed here to save yourself. God imbued in you, invested into you, placed in you everything that you need in order to get to where you got to go. Everything is already built into you. You got to unpack it. You got to discover it. You got to do the work to get there. My discovery of, man, this is really who I am, took trial and test and trial, not believing in myself, doubting myself, thinking I wasn't good enough. Man, but what about this? What about, oh, it's oversaturated? Everybody's already doing it. All of that I had to go through. Every excuse I had to get through in order to get to the other side of, you know what? Let me do this and let me commit myself. This is actually my gifting. This is really who I am. This is what I love to do. You know what? Let me invest. Let me double down. Let me triple down. Let me really do this. Let me really do this. Okay, I'm figuring out. 50 views on a video, 60 views on a video, 10 views again. Damn, okay. Oh, I got 100 views on a video. Man, that's crazy. 100 views. You know, even me looking now, I'm going to look back in the past and be like, what I look at is crazy now. I got a video that hit over 300K, right? And then that sounds crazy to me. I'm like, what? Wow, one video, man, that's incredible. That's a 300 count. And that's, some people listen, that's like, that's nothing. 300K. And I might be looking back one day and be like, you know, that would be the equivalent of like 50 views back in the day. But that's the process. I had to go through that, learn, trial, test, do this, do that. How do I truly be my whole self on this camera? Not to hold back. Like, how do I communicate a message more effectively, right? Connect the story more effectively, whatever it is. How do I give myself over to my purpose? How do I devote myself, dedicate myself? That's why y'all see me, man. He's posted so many videos, man, 3 videos in a day, because first of all, this is my calling. So it's the thing that I love to do. I would rather be doing nothing else at this moment, right? That's number one. But also it's my devotion and my dedication. I said, I'm going to show up like this. When Oprah had a show back in the day, she couldn't just say, you know what? Let me take Tuesday, Thursday. I'm not going to do those. No, maybe they had to pre-program them. So, okay, then we got to do 2 shows in a day, 3 shows in a day, whatever it is, because you made a commitment to the people. You said you were going to show up for the people. And that's the promise that I made to myself and the promise that I made to my people. I'm going to show up. I show up, you show up. I show up, you show up. Simple as that. But nobody owes me that. And I'm not oppressed or, oh, this is a system and if only. No, it's nobody else's blame if I don't get the outcome that I have desired for. I have to produce that outcome. Simple as that. I'm not a victim. I'm not oppressed, right? I appreciate the support. I'm so thankful when y'all send donations, etc. But I'm never going to ask you, please give me money, and I haven't given you something of value. The reason why people will send, $10, $15, $50 in some cases, I appreciate all of it. The reason people do that is because they see value and they say, you know what? I want to contribute to that. That's what that's about. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to be up here like a pulpit, PIMP. I'm not going to be that. Oh, you need to, because God said you need to, so you need to give me. No. If you have that feeling and you desire to do that, so be it. Beautiful thing. You're here. You're already paid in attention. That's a beautiful thing, right? There's reciprocity in that relationship. But I'm not going to put that onto anybody else. That's not going to be something that, I'm just oppressed. And the reason people aren't showing up is because I'm black and it's not fair. And like I did a video, on Keke Palmer. She talking about, the reason why people aren't, she's not in the place that Miley Cyrus is, even though they both came from the Disney machine, is because Miley's white and blah. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, like I always bring Beyonce up in that type of stuff because I say Beyonce has more Grammys than damn Yo-Yo Ma, who has like 150 albums, right? She has more Grammys than, what's his name? Quincy Jones. Quincy goddamn Jones. Quincy Jones, who did everything from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson to the 007 theme song. She has more Grammys than that man as a black, quote unquote, black woman, right? Oh, but it's racism that stopped me from becoming as successful as Miley Cyrus. No, what stopped you from becoming as successful, first and foremost, you're comparing yourself. That's the first problem. You're trying to make, but me, I'm only here. What about everybody else who didn't make the cut? Everybody else who didn't get a kilo in the damn B? You know what I mean? Like, what about them? You don't look at them. You're looking up here. So you're comparing yourself first and foremost. And secondly, if you would just focus on your own career instead of worrying about all these other, external factors, you would be much further ahead than you actually could even imagine. When I start just focusing and honing into my own, Things have been going up and they will continue to do so. I'm just focused on what I need to be focused on. If I can't control the thing, I let it go. Can't control it, I let it go. If I can't control it, perfect. What do we do about it? Simple as that. You are not a victim to your circumstance. You are the creator. You are the creator of the reality that you want moving forward. And the decisions you make right now are going to create your world tomorrow.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a hardening heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3, 6, 5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising. They see your light shine, that's